for staying with us. Out of South Africa now and into Nigeria, where the appeal court sitting in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, has in a unanimous decision dismissed 4 separate appeals against the election of Rivers State Governor Niyi Fubara in the March 18, 2023 election. Now, the appeals were filed by Toye Cole of the All Progressives Congress, Beatrice Itubo of the Labour Party, Innocent Eku of the Allied People's Movement, and Lulu Briggs-Dumo of the Accord Party. The court thereby upheld the judgment of the Election Tribunal. News Central's Niyi Omoniyi, who had been following the story, was in the court's ruling, or at the court's ruling, I beg your pardon, and he brings us this next report.
After the Election Petition Tribunal upheld the election of Governor of Rivers State in the March elections, the APC candidate approached the Appellate Court seeking an order to direct INEC to declare him the winner of the March governorship election in Rivers. Toye Cole has insisted that Governor Fubara was still signing documents as Assistant General of the state even after nomination as the governorship candidate of the PDP. He also alleged irregularities in the election, amongst other pleas. But the appellate court held that all the appellants failed to prove the allegation of non-compliance with the Electorate Act. The court dismissed the petition of Cole challenging the election of Fubara, noting it lacked merit and adequate evidence.
I think it's almost an impossible case that has been brought about, and that's something that the judiciary would have to look at. To expect that you're going to be able to bring 6,700 or 6,800 witnesses within the time frame that the tribunal is given, it's nearly impossible. And so that's one of the areas that I think has to be looked at critically as to how to deal with fraudulent cases like that. It's still a very, very shallow area, and I think it has to be tightened properly.
Would you be taking this further?
It looks like I would have to review the judgment and then decide where we're going. But it looks like we'll have to go to the Supreme Court.
The appellate court also held that the fact that the APC withdrew its petition challenging Fubara's victory does not prevent its candidate Cole from pursuing its appeal. The election tribunal had earlier dismissed Toye Cole's appeal on the ground that the APC sponsored him and had withdrawn the petition against Governor Fubara's victory.
What they had the tribunal say was that the Court of Appeal say was that it was not proper to have dismissed the petition in limine on the ground that the APC had withdrawn. But the tribunal nonetheless proceeded to consider the petition on the merit and dismissed it as if the APC was still a party to it. So I have no concern about that. And what the Court of Appeal did was to say, look, you are wrong. But then let us look at the facts. And when they look at the facts, they found that the judgment cannot be disturbed.
Prior to this ruling, the camp of the Rivers State Governor Niyi Fubara had alleged that the former governor, now Minister Nyesom Wike, was plotting to use the courts to remove him. This ruling may have paid to those concerns.
The justices of this court have done justice to the case. I think this will put to rest all the ambiguities that people were thinking about. And I want to use this as an opportunity to appeal to our brothers, those who feel aggrieved, that they should join hands with the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Niyi Fubara, to build a great and veritable state in Rivers State.
The judgment of the tribunal has hereby affirmed. The return and declaration of Niyi Fubara is also hereby affirmed. Niyi Omoniyi, reporting for News Central Lagos.
Well, that was a package carefully put together by Niyi Omoniyi, who will be joining us very shortly, by the way. Now, seeing as this is likely going to be going to the Apex Court anytime now, it's safe to say that the Rivers State governorship dispute is nowhere near ending. But anyways, the one who put together the report is joining us in the studio now, Niyi Omoniyi, to give us more updates on the development. Thank you so much, Niyi, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Let's start off with the court ruling. You were there to cover the event. How was it?
Well, naturally, you would expect that people had their hearts in their mouth, but that was not the case here. It almost seems like they're just playing out some sort of script, as I would put it, because there was no tense moment as you would have during the presidential, maybe because it's not presidential, but you really can't tell. But there were no tense moments. It's almost like everyone was just sitting, we knew what the ruling was going to be, and it could be two ways. It could be expectations were not high because of recent judicial rulings and controversies over judicial cases in recent times. And it could also be that knowing what has been put forward and knowing that if we move by cases that have moved through the election tribunal recently, we would see that not much have been overturned by the Court of Appeal. So mostly the environment there was just calm, and everyone just took to what the appellate court had decided. And yeah, according to Tony Cole, is going to review the judgment and of course move and hinted on taking the case to the Supreme Court.
Nani, it's not surprising. Now, if you look at almost all the states that had the elections in this past election in Nigeria, including, of course, the presidential elections, almost everybody has gone to court. It's almost becoming a norm, and there are complaints that are beginning to spring up, honestly speaking. First of all, it's costing more of taxpayers' money, and then there's this particular complaint that it looks like it is no longer the ballot that is now picking who wins the election, but it's the Supreme Court. It's the judiciary. Are we now giving? You cover judiciary. You've been following some of these cases. Does it seem like we are now giving the power of the people to the judiciary?
Just to put this in light and just put this out there, I was having a conversation recently with someone, and one of the phrases mentioned that made it look like it was a joke is, if you're not comfortable with anything in Nigeria as regards judicial jurisprudence or when it has to do with political decisions or policies, my brother, go to court. That has just been the slang there. But here, not to mention that the pressure that will actually be on the judicial system is actually, the judicial system, the judiciary has actually had so much to deal with, and so many people have been going to court. Aside the implication, the cost implication, there's also the fact that we are now looking at the possibility of having a lot of off-cycle elections, which is what people have been calling for not to be in the first place. But here, let's now look at the judgments so far. There's been a lot of controversy. The same technicality that has been used in some cases for some governorship dispute has been used in other cases to actually uphold that person's election. And this is not the first one we're having. We know the Lagos State governorship dispute also happened at the same appeal court where, of course, the victory of Sanwo-Olu was upheld. This goes to question that what exactly is the electoral umpire doing wrong, or is it that these people have seen that the election does not really reflect the feelings of the people? Because if I have to challenge every single win, or if I have to go to court for every single, yes, it's okay, and that's the truth. Before now, we've had people go to court, challenge this, but this has become so rampant. It almost seems like now you're even already waiting for the declaration by INEC, and once they declare, you're going to court. And this brings questions of, before the declaration, were some of the questions answered as to the electoral process? I do remember in Imo State, where I covered, even while the results were being collated and announced, there were questions by state party agents from other parties questioning the fact that there were so many of these local governments information that were being reviewed in that were controversial and needed to be answered. And so if those questions were not answered before the declaration, of course, people will head to court. But where the challenge is now is that once everyone starts going to court, it now lays some sort of heavy burden on the court's judicial system itself. And let's not leave out the fact that there are also allegations of corruption within the judicial sector that it's dealing with currently. And in fact, the CJN recently was indicted by one of the retired justices, Datijo, who actually let the cat out of the bag about the deep corruption level in judicial system. And let's also mention the comments made by one of the senator who is married to a retired Supreme Court of Appeal president, who is actually charged with electing judges who sit on the election tribunal. Now, these are deep questions that needs further scrutiny, but hey, we are not here to really decide if they have to go to court or if they need to go to court. But one thing is sure, one thing we should look out for is, if they do go to court, do the people really believe in the judicial system we have, that they can deliver just fair judgments and let people know that, okay, you know what, we've gotten what we want?
Well, I think with everything that has happened so far, we can see a very clear answer to that question. But anyways, this recent dispute is not the only challenge that Rivers State governorship has been having. News Central has also followed up on the former governor, Nyesom Wike, allegedly planning to remove Rivers State Governor Simeala Fubara through legal action with, a very vague explanation of gross misconduct, according to past allegations from his camp. Now, it appears that the Court of Appeals ruling has resolved that, or has
this is, I wouldn't really put that to rest that way. We both know that politics is very, very dicey in Nigeria. Now, I remember when I was in court, I was speaking with Tonyeko, and I was asking him that, okay, his party actually withdrew from the petition, and he went solely to challenge the victory, because that was why his petition was actually dismissed from the election tribunal, and he had to go to the Court of Appeal. Now, he went to the Court of Appeal as a single person, and we asked him specifically that, does he still have the support of his party, which is APC? And he just said, don't worry, that is it's a common party politics. We'll sort that out. There's really no big deal about this. So sometimes it just looks like we're playing out the script here. And let's not forget that the political unrest, because I was there personally in Rivers State to cover the political unrest, there were a lot of dicey situations as to Fubara didn't actually come out to say that the political unrest in Rivers State was as a result of the challenge or the cases or issues he had with the former governor of the state, which is Nyesom Wike, who is the current Minister of State of the FCT. And Wike, on his own part as well, didn't come out to say that particularly he had an issue with Fubara. All we knew was that they had a meeting with the president, both parties, with the president, and things died down. In fact, Fubara came out to say that it's a father and something. So yeah, if to know how much influence the Wike camp, the Wike part of this is actually having, or what the Fubara camp is saying, we might not really be able to put it to put a particular conclusion to it and say this is what is causing what. But one thing we know is that, as I said, political mathematics in Nigeria is outstanding. 2 plus 2 is never even 22. It's almost 222. So we can't understand so many things, and that's it, sincerely.
You have all the wrong answers in that statement.
That is Nigerian politics for you. Yeah. That's Nigerian politics. And I do remember when I was in Rivers State, I said it here, when it has to do with the election of the seats, the lawmakers' seats. Yeah, I do remember then, and there were a lot of politics as well that was being played as to the numbers of lawmakers that actually assigned or voted for somebody. So all these things are really just, they are a little bit shady, and we really can't get to the depth of this matter. But as journalists, we're tasked to keep digging, of course, and know how this will pan out.
We will continue to keep digging, and hopefully one day we'll strike oil. Well, thank you so much, Niyi Omoniyi, for following the story and for bringing us, up to speed with the things going on. Just as you leave the studio, here's my own take. Now we already have the Fubara versus Nyesom Wike battle on one hand, and now we have Fubara versus the other governors that were, or the other candidates that were vying for governor on the other hand. So there's Fubara in the middle, there's one battle on this side, one battle on this side. My question is, how powerful?
The only battle Fubara has now is with the former governor, because when we talk about Tonyeko, see, let's state this fact. Labour Party had withdrawn from this and not even supported their own candidates and given support to Fubara. Let's put that on record. APC withdrew during the election tribunal. Only the candidate is going. So, and I remember when I went to Rivers State, the Social Democratic Party state's party agent also mentioned that they didn't press this further to the election tribunal because everyone had decided, you know what, let's come down and support Fubara. So the only challenge he will be having right now is with Nyesom Wike, and he has come out to say that he's a father and son. Yeah, so there's really not much to meddle in. Sincerely, so I'm not sure he has any battle with any other person. Yes, Tonyeko can decide to go to court. Who knows what will come out? It's Nigeria. Anything is possible in the way that our political landscape is going.
But almost everything is predictable.
Exactly. That's really good.
In the words of one of our correspondents, only time will tell.
Only time. Thank you so much, Niyi Omoniyi. Thank you so much for doing justice to this particular topic.
Thank you for having me.